Hello, this is Kathy from Kathy Johnson Art. I made this little soft cover booklet recently, and it's made from rust-dyed fabrics. It's a little bit springy, and so I was trying to figure out how I could make a closure to kind of keep this little book closed. It's only about 4 by 5.5 inches. So I was thinking about the cording that I had made to use in my garden last summer. I have a couple here. These were made from the leaves of my daylily plant. And this one here was made from one of those plastic mesh bags that fruits and vegetables come in. And they worked really well. This one was extra sturdy. And I thought I could do the same thing using strips of my rusted fabric. So I took these are about 1/2 inch by 22 inch long strips of rusted fabric, and I think for this one here I used 4 of this length, 1/2 inch by 22, because it does use up quite a bit. So to get started, what I would do is just take this one piece here, fold it in half, but then what you want to do before you start is make sure that you offset. You don't want to have them even at the bottom, and the reason is when you're going to be adding another strip onto that, you want to make sure that the extra bulk that's going to come with adding this on isn't falling in the same space. So you've got one up here and then one down there, and I'll show you how to add that on once I get to that part. So I've got this folded here, and then I'm just going to grab it where it was kind of in the middle, and I just start twisting between my finger and thumb, and then eventually you're going to see it start to fold over on itself like this. It just made this little loop here, and that's when I know I can start the cording. So I let the loop form, and then from this point all you're going to be doing is twisting the strand that's on the right, bringing it over, and then now this one that's on the right, you're going to twist that and bring it over. So you're just constantly bringing the one from the right, twisting it and bringing it over to the left. So twist, bring it over, twist, and you just keep going. It actually goes pretty quickly. You can see I've already got some started here, and once it gets twisted, it stays that way. It doesn't come undone. So I'm just going to keep going until I get down to the part where I can show you how I add on more of the fabric so that I can keep going and make it long enough. Okay, so I'm getting pretty close to the end here. So I've got this next piece of this next strip that I cut that I'm going to add on here. So what I like to do is I will fold this over and just make a little slit so that I can bring this piece up in it. So I'll just get my little scissors here. I'm folding it over in half just so I can make a small slit, maybe like 1/4 inch. And then I'm just going to feed this new piece of fabric up through that slit that I made. And once I've got it pulled through, I just want to kind of line it up with the first strip that's there. And then as I twist, it's just going to get twisted right in, and it just becomes part of the whole cording. So then I just go back to the regular twist on the right, bring it over to the left, and you can see it's kind of got that little loose edge, but just keep twisting it, and eventually it's going to just work its way right into the cording. Okay, so you can see that's kind of worked its way in. There's just a tiny little thing hanging off here, and I can trim that off after, and it's still going to be very sturdy and hold together. So I will have to do the same thing when I get down to this end here. So I'll just do a little bit more and show you one more time how I add that on. Okay, so again, I'm just going to take the end piece, fold that in half. Make a little slit here. And then bring my next strip that I have waiting over here. Okay, so now that's ready to get twisted in and become part of the cording. Okay, now that one's worked in there pretty well too, and I could just go ahead and trim off those little pieces that are sticking out after. So then I would just keep going until I get to the end and I have a piece long enough like I have here that's going to wrap around my book. Well, I made it all the way to the end here. I'm just going to make my knot here. So I'll just twist this in. And just pull that nice and tight. And then I'm just going to trim off the edges like that. So you can see that's a nice long piece of cording. I'm going to go back now and just trim off those extra pieces that were on there so they're not sticking out. And there's that other one that was there. There. So what I did when I had this, I took this end here that has the loop in it, and that's what I put inside of here and stitched across to hold that on. So that now that when I close this, I can just bring this around, wrap it a couple times, and tuck the knot under, and there you go.